Good morning and welcome to the lab with my trusty co-host, Joel Scrivener. We are here to break down concepts on leadership, business, life, and personal excellence. And so today we are going to discuss self-awareness and self-assessment. And so Joel has some awesome tools for us that we are going to break down, and we hope you're having a fantastic Wednesday. Wednesday is always the hardest day to get through.
Hump day, baby. It's hump day. It's hump day. You got to get out there and hump it out. You know what I'm saying?
I told my wife, I'm like, can we just go to the lake house now? I'm like,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm just done. I'm so tired. And I'm like, she's like, don't you have work? And I'm like, I'll just work there. What better place to work? But anyhow, so we hope you're having a fantastic day today. We hope you are listening to this in a good place.
Yeah.
And, we hope that we're able to inspire and uplift and really give you some extra fuel for the rest of the week. And so let's dive in.
Let's do it. And, I want to give a shout out to all of you that were with us last night in the Discord. We had a good time making some jokes, and y'all kept me up way too late for I
got texts at I think it was 10:30, and Joel's over here like, I'm on the Discord having fun. I'm like, I'm going to bed. Leave me alone.
Right.
I had spent probably 2.5 hours doing a Q&A in the Discord right before you texted all that.
Well, Pyro finally gave me permission to go to bed as the official old guy in the group. I got bedtime permission. So
awesome.
Anywho, but this is such an important quality in what we really want to do here in the lab, Hustle Live Lab, is we want to help you break down key principles that, for you to understand them, for you to be able to put them in practice, will help you be the absolute best version of you. Jonathan and I, we both have this as a personal passion in helping people, making an impact on people. I've done nothing in my entire life but coach. I started coaching as a child in the martial arts. I was coaching other students. By the time I was 17, I had students that ranged from 3 to 63. I had my own business at that point. And so all I've done my whole life is help people see what was in themselves, try to pull out and draw out the best. And this topic of self-awareness and self-assessment is massively important. And the reason is because we've all known someone that wasn't self-aware at all, and they had no idea they were sabotaging their lives. You know anybody like that, Jonathan?
I know a few people.
Is there anybody you could discuss? Is there a worst case? You can't obviously can't give away who it might be.
Let me think on that.
Think on that. Well, and I'll give you an example, and this might trigger a memory for him. When I was in an organization, it was a large organization, probably $20 million a year organization, and I was over a large department of this organization. And we had a young guy that came in kind of as an intern. I was at that point probably 29, something like that. This guy was 19. When I got hired on this position, they asked me one question inside of my interview. They said, "Do you think that you can do what this guy can do?" And because I was being groomed to take this guy's place. Well, this guy was a veteran, man. He was 20 years of experience in the industry, in the organization. The guy was a former NFL player, leadership coach. Top level dude. And here I am at the time, I'm 27. Yeah. And they said, "Do you think you can do what he does?" And I laughed in their face. I'm like, "No, I can't do what he does." I said, "He's a veteran. He's the boss." Yeah. I said, "Man, I'm a rookie." I said, "But I can tell you what, I'm very teachable, and I learn really fast. And if you'll teach me and if you'll invest in me, one day I'll be able to do what he does. But I can't right now, but give me a chance and teach me, and I can get there." Well, they both looked at each other and smiled, and I got the job. And now here I am 22 years later. And that conversation and the moment of self-awareness. Now think about it. At that point, I was reigning world champ. Yeah. 4-time world champ. I was asked to be the captain of the USA combat taekwondo team. You
could have had a lot of pride and been like, "Yeah, of course I can do exactly what he's doing."
But instead, I recognized, look, my expertise is over here. If you want someone to knock a joker out, yes, I can do way more than this guy. But running an organization, running a department of an organization where I'm going to be working with hundreds of volunteers and and thousands of clients and all this kind of stuff, no, I don't know, but teach me. And that moment of self-awareness shifted the course of my life. Now, flash forward 2 years later, I'm sitting in the office of the guy that I said, "I don't know what he knows. I can't be what he can be." And he asked this 19-year-old intern the exact same question that I had been asked 2 years earlier.
And you're sitting in the room.
I'm in the room now.
Wow.
I'm the one. He's saying, "You 19-year-old punk little snuff, I mean, I'm going to keep this G-rated, I know there's children
there's
present,
a lot of 19-year-olds.
Well, okay. No offense to the 19-year-olds, but again, it's about self-awareness. He asked the 19-year-old, do you think you can do what this guy can do? Now, this guy, me now, is 29 years old, been married at that point for 8 years.
And the fool said yes, didn't he?
He said, absolutely, I can tell you what he can do. And I'm literally, and I'm looking at the boss, and he looks at me and smiles because he knows this dude's a flipping idiot. He's an idiot. And so the concept of self-awareness, this is a guy who would come in and he would say, I kind of, when I walk into a room, I kind of feel like a lion, how a lion looks around and knows that there's no one in this room that can intimidate him. He would say things like that. Don't say who it is. Don't say who it is. But he literally at 20 years old thought that no one, he had nothing to prove and all this. And the sad thing is now he's completely destroyed his life because he had no self-awareness and he had no idea that he was self-sabotaging almost every environment that he walked into. So it's super important, right? Like for example,
it's a bedrock. It's like the bedrock of your success as a person is in your ability to understand yourself and to understand yourself in such a way, not just like, this is my personality, but it's like, no, like, where are your downfalls? What are you good at? What are you bad at?
Yeah.
Understanding like, okay, I might not be like a leader, but here are ways that I know that I can lead people in versus like trying to step in a role and saying, I'm a leader and being all cocky about things. It destroys your life when you do not understand who you are and how you interact with other people. And on top of that, if you never even, we talked about failures, right? On Monday, it was this, we were able to do Monday morning millionaire mindset. Okay. I think it's millionaire mindset. So I just got so many off there. Too many M's. Say that 7 times fast.
No.
But he said no. But on Millionaire Mindset, on Monday, we discussed business failures and mistakes and the importance of making mistakes in business and the ability to just look at yourself and say, it's okay that I'm not good at certain pieces. Because if you're not introspective enough, then you can't find the right people to fill those gaps.
True.
The best people in the world admit to themselves that they are not capable of doing X, Y, and Z, and thus they need other people to handle that for them. Those are the best leaders because, for example, Pyro's a phenomenal example. You guys were chatting up in the Discord. When I came into this industry, I was like, why do you have a Discord? I don't understand. Why do you even do a Discord? Like, this doesn't make any sense to me.
Right.
And putting somebody that had the experience that I did not have, I could have came in and said, well, I've built and sold multi-million-dollar companies, just like you could have come in and said, well, I've been a 4 times world champ at the time, But just understanding that weakness, it is the bedrock of your success is understanding yourself.
Yeah.
And how to fill those gaps.
So, and we're going to talk about a super duper. I love that word, super duper. So I sent Jonathan a text last night that says, "I've got a super duper self-assessment we can use. Really, whatever. Super duper simple self-assessment." Say that.
Super duper self-assessment.
Super duper simple self-assessment. See, come on, man.
Have you ever heard of Kalanick, the founder of Uber? So when he used to say everything was uber good or uber great or whatever. Okay. And it was never a thing until he's like, I'm going to name my car company Uber. And everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
Because he's like uber fantastic or uber amazing, 70s.
Uber douchey.
Uber douchey. That's exactly right.
So let's talk about this for a second, because we're gonna show you a very cool, easy self-assessment. In the second half of the show today, we're gonna walk through the same thing of how you can assess the people around you. If I could be honest, there's been lots of times in my life, back in my teen years, back in my early 20s, there have been lots of times in my life where I was surrounded by the wrong people and I wasn't able to assess. There were times where my parents or a friend or my wife could assess someone and look at someone and say, man, that's not the right person, or they're not right for you, or no, you shouldn't be in business. and I was too close to it and I couldn't see
Yes,
it. And
yes.
so many times I made a joke the other day that my wife is always right when it comes to like who needs to be on the staff and who needs to be fired. And so, she literally, I told someone the other day that from now on, if Jennifer, my wife, says that person's not right, they need to go, I'm just going to walk over and fire them on the spot because she's always right. What am I fired for? Jennifer said so. I don't know. She said so. She knows something. I don't know. But you have people in your life that can see the good in someone or the bad or the risk or the danger. And sometimes we're too close to it and we could be defending someone that's bad for us.
Well, I've got a really good example of that, actually. So I have two examples. I've told one about the sales guy back in church base that I had.
Okay.
Really good friend of mine. I thought we were really close and everything. And then everybody is like, you gotta fire him. You gotta fire him. That was one of my 6 biggest mistakes we talked about on Monday was I didn't fire people when they needed firing. Yeah. And so he ended up, because I didn't fire him, he ended up sabotaging 5 or 6 of my employees just left on the spot because I was too close to it. And so many people, even my wife, told me multiple times, he's not good for your organization. He's not good for your company. And I didn't listen because I was too close to it. So it's a real thing. And it can, if you don't listen to the right people around you, the decisions you make in your life, especially in business, they can make or break you,
Yeah. One of my questions for each and every one of you that are listening, and you please shoot us in the Discord, in the chat, shoot us information or questions or thoughts or whatever.
Love questions. I'll be looking at them live. So if you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them on the actual live stream. So,
but one of my things would be is who do you have in your life currently that will tell you the hard truth?
It's good.
Who will tell you the hard truth? Because that's a tough thing. I mean, for me and Jonathan, we both have employees, right? Yeah. We have employees, we have business partners. We need our business partners to tell us the hard truth because they have a vested interest with us. And their business future is riding on that relationship. So many times people don't want to tell the truth because they're afraid to hurt someone's feelings.
That's true.
And so they won't say the truth. You need people in your life that are willing to hurt your feelings because they love you that much, right? There's an ancient saying that says, "It's faithful are the wounds of a friend, but beware of the kisses of an enemy." Right?
Real.
I mean, so just that whole idea of making sure that you've got friends. Man, so my best friend in college, I was dating my wife, my future wife, Jennifer, and we broke up. And we broke up because she was pushing me to make a commitment. Like she was asking me, "What are we? What are we?" And I was such a I was so terrified. That girl broke my heart when I was 15 and cheated on me with a guy on a motorcycle. I never recovered. Anyway,
you're like, I'm buying a dang motorcycle.
Right, I'm buying a motorcycle.
Right
now. But I couldn't make a commitment from 15 on. I couldn't make a commitment ever to anyone.
Wow.
And so my wife, my girlfriend was like, "What are we?" And she was pressing me, "What are we? You act like you're my boyfriend, but then we're out in public and you won't hold my hand." I was a jerk. I'm telling you. And she pushed me. I said, "Look, if you're going to back me into a corner and you're going to make me make a decision right now in this moment, is that what you want me to do right now? You have to make a decision." She goes, "Yes." I said, "Then I guess we're nothing.
Oof.
We're nothing then." And I'm like, it was emotional.
Still got her.
Well, No, so I go to my best friend, Brian, and I'm like, "Brian, hey, look, when we broke up, hey man, let's go get a beer, whatever." And Brian's like, "Hold it, you did what? You did what?" I said, "Jen and I broke up." He goes, "Are you a complete moron?" He goes, "Dude, you love her. You love her. She's the best girl you've ever been with. I've seen every other girl you've been with. They're horrible compared. She's the one, Joel. And if you can't see that, you're too stupid to be my friend." That's what he said to me. "You're too stupid to be my friend." I'm like, "Dude, you really think that?" He goes, "Absolutely." I said, "Well, what do I do?" He goes, "Go get her back. Like right now. Go." And so I went crying back to her and I got that woman and tricked her and, hit her and drug her off into the cave. Just kidding. I'm just joking. But old man jokes, it's caveman jokes. Come on, keep up, young fellers.
Misogynistic. We're going to get canceled.
No, she won. I promise you. She won. She got a good deal. Anyway. No, but that whole idea of having people that'll and my wife is the best person for that, right? Jonathan, the working relationship I have, it doesn't do him any good if I don't tell him the hard truth.
Yeah.
Right? You got to have those people. Those people are super valuable. And if you have those people, keep them. Keep them in your life. Do everything you can to keep that kind of person that'll as your friend will will wound you at times so you can see the truth, right? Very important, all right?
Well, and I'll take that a step further, because it's not just people that can tell you the truth. It's if you're someone like me, and it's like, or even you, like sometimes we have a hard time telling people the hard stuff, right? And so having people in your life that can communicate the hard truths to somebody else, let's say you have an organization or a business or something like that, like having people on your staff that actually make up that weakness and can sit somebody down and say, hey, this is a problem and you got to fix this. If you're not good at confrontation, find somebody that's good at confrontation, you know? And that's the reality of making up, you know, that gap or that problem inside of yourself, or that weakness inside of yourself, and having somebody else there. I've had you go many times in my organization. I've been like, Joel, it's time. You're up. Go tell them that this and this. And this.
Yeah, there's only been a couple people. He's like, I want you to go help this person. I'm like, why do you hate me so much? Yeah. Why do you hate me? Did you want me to work with this person that you don't even like? I'm just joking. Yes. No, that none of those people actually work for the company. Yes. It's a different person that's outside the company.
And for context, Joel works with Apollo quite a bit. He coaches. You coach all of our management
top
staff,
managers,
and he creates winners out of our management. So just for context, that's what we're speaking about.
Yeah. So one of the things Jonathan and I have in common is we took an assessment that I could recommend to you. You actually pay for this assessment, and it's much more in detail. And Jonathan could probably tell you a dozen different types, but one that I really like is called Strength Finders 2.0. Strength Finders 2.0. What it does is it helps you identify your top 5 strengths, and then you play to your strengths, and then you build friendships and relationships around you. And if you're on a team at a job or in a business or whatever, you build relationships around you that fill out your weaknesses.
Yeah.
So it'd be kind of like on a football team. You know, you've got the offensive lineman has completely different strengths and skill sets than the tight end, than the running back, than the wide receiver, than the quarterback. They all have different body types. They all have different strengths. They have different speeds. They have different verticals. They have different reaches with their arms and appendage, whatever. And you don't want every single person on the football team to be the exact same. You need all different shapes and sizes, and no one's better than another. And one person on the team, they may get all the accolade, but they can't win if it's not for the lineman. They can't win if it's not for the center. They can't win if it's not for these people that maybe they'll never make the cover of the magazine or the Wheaties box, but the guy on the Wheaties box has to have that person in front of him, or he can't win.
I just want to be the guy selling the Wheaties box.
There you go. There you go. So anyway, I almost had a stray moment that would take me down a completely different path, but I'm going to harness my ADHD right now. You see that? I just pulled it in.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Okay, so how do people evaluate themselves?
Okay.
How does somebody become self-aware? How do they, maybe they're like, well, I know myself, you know, like I know what I'm good at. Maybe I don't want to admit that and everything, but how do you look more introspective?
Okay. So I'm going to give you, this is the simplest form that I've used. And I've been using this for probably about 7 or 8 years now. I learned it a number of years ago in business. Is called the 4 E's and 1 P. The 4 E's and 1 P, and we'll walk through those in a second. And Jonathan and I've got another business partner named Adam. We'll walk through those ideas with you. But again, these tools that I'm going to give you right now, something that you should do is you should find the person or a couple people in your life and ask them the questions I'm about to ask you and get their feedback. There have been times where I would ask Jonathan some questions in a coaching session, and then his homework would be go home and ask your wife these questions and see what she says about you and see if your perspective.
Why is that valuable for somebody to go and ask somebody else instead of just knowing themselves?
Because you might be self-deceived. I mean, the most dangerous deception in the world is self-deception. Yeah. Right?
And we lie to ourselves.
We do
every day
to make ourselves feel better. Yeah. And sometimes it's a coping mechanism.
I tell myself I'm beautiful every day in the mirror.
I tell myself I'm tall and skinny, you know. So yes, praise the Lord. Anyway, tall and skinny one day. I'm just believing. I'm believing for it. But anyway, so this idea of having people and taking these questions and saying, hey, how do you see me? You know, how would you rate me in this?
Yeah.
Please be honest. I really want your help, right? Don't try to protect my feelings. Tell me the real truth. It's super important.
Because then you understand, if they rate you low, you understand that is a weakness and something either that you can work on, or if it's something you can't work on, that's just part of your personality, then you can make up for that with having the right people around you and you can kind of fit those pieces in. And so that's really the core reason why you ask people, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so everything we become good at in life, we become good at it because we learn and we practice, right?
Good.
So if someone is an ice skater and they want to go to the Olympics, they can't just go, man, I'm the best ice skater and I know I'm Olympic quality and I know this and this and that and whatever. No, they got to get training partners. They got to hire coaches. They got to watch film. They got to compare themselves to other people. And that's how it was for us on the U.S. team. We literally would watch tape on ourselves, watch tape on our opponents. We were constantly putting ourselves intentionally in a position where we were being criticized by our coaches so that we could be better. And we learned how to welcome criticism. Please tell me what I need to shift. Please tell me my next thing. And it's the mindset, or the actual, so in Korean, it's Cheongshokwan. Cheongshokwan means the way of constant and never-ending improvement.
If we have any Koreans on the Discord, I want to know if that's
please, you know. And my dialect, my Texas dialect is probably not right.
Say it again.
Cheongshokwan. Yeah, I'll help you later. We'll do some phonics later.
Right,
anyway, but it's the way of constant, never-ending improvement, right? So if I really want to be and live and become the absolute best I can be, I can't be like, well, I'm good enough at that. I'm good enough at that. I'm good. I have to always be ever improving, right?
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've all seen businesses, you know, Blockbuster used to be a big deal.
They refused to go online. There's a book, it's called, oh man, I'm going to find it. It's the story of Netflix, and it's freaking amazing because it's That Will Never Work is the book. That Will Never Work by it's The Birth of Netflix. Why did they say the birth? That's strange. By Mark Randolph. That Will Never Work by Mark Randolph. Phenomenal book about the story of Netflix and their dominance over Blockbuster, and how nobody believed it. Like I love biographies and I love books like that. But anyway, shameless shit on there.
Absolutely. So with that said, you know, we all have to be in that place where we're welcoming, right? I'm a public speaker. There are other, I know public speakers. Literally, I know a guy that gets $1 million to speak. That's unbelievable. Nobody values me that much.
Clinton? Sorry.
Anyway, no, there are people. Literally, I know a guy. It's $1 million for him to come and spend a day at your company. Right? No one's paying me $1 million to come and speak for one day at a company. So apparently this dude knows something that but what happens is, in our insecurity, we look at other people and we go, well, I'm as good as they are, and I'm as good as they are, and I'm as good. Well, if you are, why aren't you getting the results? Why aren't you getting the paychecks? Why isn't there a demand for you if you're actually really that good? So instead of that, in my winology system, I have what's called the evolution of a winner. And the first place of evolution is the first step of the evolution is imitation. I've got to take a real honest assessment of myself, and I've got to recognize who out there is better than me at this thing I want to be the best at. And I can go learn from them. I need to study them. I need to imitate them. I need to every painter, every designer, every computer engineer, anybody that's ever become incredible at anything started their journey by imitating the work of someone else first. We all want to be innovators. And nobody wants to be an imitator. But you'll never be an innovator unless you learn the science of imitation, because imitation is the birth of all learning. Every baby, every child, every toddler, everything, every animal, they all learn by imitation, and then innovation comes, right? So
let's dive into the 3 E's and 1 P. 4 E's.
4 E's, 1 P.
E's.
Okay.
It's a little too many E's for me.
I'm sorry.
4 E's and 1 P.
The first one is energy. Energy. Okay. And the reason that's important, and so you're basically you're qualifying yourself, or you're evaluating yourself, or you're asking someone else, what type of energy do I put off? Do I have good energy? You know, and
is that on the scale of 1 to 10, or what is that
so
like?
Here's the way that I've seen it done that's really great is you draw a circle. So on a piece of paper, draw 5 circles, okay? And put an E in the first 4 and put a P in the last one, okay? So it's 5 circles, you know, just down across the page, and you fill the circle in. So you're looking at my energy, okay? We all know someone who has bad energy.
Okay.
Right. And realistically, just quantum physics, quantum science, your entire body is an energy field. Every single cell in your body is an energy field. You have your whole body is made up of sound waves and frequencies and all that kind of stuff, and you literally put off a frequency. So if you are a very positive person, then you put off a positive frequency. Okay, no different than magnets. You have a positive and negative, polarity on a magnet, right? A positive magnet attracts, a negative magnet repels.
Well, it's like the test they did in China. They froze they put a bucket of water in a freezer.
Yes.
People in America thought about that bucket of water negatively, and the shards froze all crazy, and it was a world away.
Yeah.
And then they thought about a different bucket positively later, and it was just beautiful ice crystals, just gorgeous.
Yep.
And so, it's like, not just are you energy, your thoughts are energy, how you interact is energy. Have you ever walked in a room or somebody walks in a room and you're like, whoa, like, it's an actual tangible thing because your body is made up of energy. And you think about it and it's like, we're 90% water, and guess what water is? It's waves. It's all waves.
Yep.
And so, energy is a real thing. And I know we've discussed energy a lot on the Discord. I mean, there's a lot of people in there discussing it, including shout out to Twitchy Witchy on the Discord. So but yeah, so we're definitely all like just made up of waves, and that's such an important thing just to recognize because we're projecting.
Yeah. And this is stuff I've studied, Jonathan, for like 10 years. I can absolutely geek the crap out on this stuff. Just the quantum physics and the science of your brain and all, positive psychology, the effects of positive thoughts, feelings, emotions, all that. I mean, we could do 10 hours just on that stuff. But we all have met someone that we just walk up to them the first time we meet him and we're like, my God, I love that guy. You might be thinking that right now. You saw Jonathan on this podcast or whatever. You're like, man, I just something about that guy. I just love him, right? There's an attractability that certain people have that you see him and you get happy just seeing him, right? That's their energy. There's other people you see them and you want to hide.
Or they call you and you're like
voicemail, right? You just send it on. You can't, the energy, because they're what I've heard called psychic vampires. They latch on and they suck the life out of you, right? So you got to watch out for people that have energy like that. But you yourself, are you, I think, and this is a little simplistic, but most people can be broken down. Their psychology or their personality could be broken down into the characters of Winnie the Pooh.
Oh, I love it.
Right? So I'm for sure a Tigger. You're probably a Tigger.
Probably.
We all know an Eeyore, right? Everybody knows a piglet that's afraid of everything. Poor little piglet. Mr. Owl. I don't know. I'm losing. I'm forgetting the different.
I'm trying to think like Winnie the Pooh. Like, what type of person is Winnie the Pooh?
He's just lovable, man. He's just calm and peaceful and just lovable. You just want to cuddle with him. He's a nice, he's cute. Apparently, I mean, he's just cute. Winnie the Pooh. Apparently, that's a buzzword for some of the people in Discord. Is cute. That was, remember last week, they're being a little goofy. Anywho, so but yeah, you've got just different personality types, and they put off a different energy level. Okay, so Eeyores just repel people. Well, it's just not going to work. And this is how it always goes. And I tried that before and blah, 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 blah. And people are like, my God, please, shoot me, get me, put me out of my misery to be around this person. Well, if you're not careful, you can become that person. Yeah. You can become a toxic.
Yes.
Crap happens in life. I mean, my daughter died of brain cancer a number of years ago. It was horrific. And here I am, a Tigger, acting like an Eeyore. Yeah. Because I'm just so depressed over it and dealing with the horrific grief of loss. And I had to learn how to shift my energy and how to be the happy, positive person I was made to be. What's interesting is that both your positivity or negativity are learned traits.
Yep.
They're learned traits. It's not something that this is how you were just made to be. You're just made to be negative. No, you learn to be negative. Life made you negative because you had a lot of bad experiences, right? So energy is important. So Jonathan, who do you think of? Like that whole thing of energy, when you think about different people, what comes to mind and some of the different people in your life and people that you would instantly attract to or instantly,
I think the people that I'm most attracted to in life are people that see possibility and learn to see possibility because they've it's no matter what happened in life. And the cool thing is the same things Like you could be dealt a hard hand in life, you could be dealt a horrible, but it's like people, it's hard to argue with, oh, my daughter passed away. Like that's huge.
Yeah.
Like that's, and it's like, but I know you to be an incredibly positive person. I know you to be a phenomenal leader, a great speaker, all of these things. And it's like, there's so many people that I know who have went through less than that and have chosen to be pessimistic and negative and all of that, because at the end of the day, they're just like, oh, this is the life that I was given. Those people can't find success.
Right.
They cannot find success because success is found in people, and nobody wants to be around that. And it's like, but it is 100% a choice. It is not there's a difference between, well, I see all the details and I see, I'm a pessimistic thinker, and it's like, there's a difference between being an analytical person that questions everything, and somebody that chooses to let the questioning dictate how they perceive opportunities and how they perceive people.
Yeah. I've had to deal with people inside of my organization that their mistrust, and that's where it starts. So this is Erickson's 7 stages of development. The very first stage of development psychologically with child development is trust versus mistrust. Yeah. So in the first 3 to 6 months, when a baby cries, are they picked up? Are they swaddled? Are they fed? Are they changed? Are they loved? Is there affection? In those first 3 to 6 months, they develop trust. If when they cry, they're not picked up, they're not coddled, they're not fed, they're not whatever, that child learns the first step of mistrust. And if that's not corrected moving forward, it perpetuates, right? And so I've had people in our organization that they moved into a phase of mistrust, and they began to attack the people that were actually their defenders because they had moved into mistrust. And because of whatever else has happened in their life, and now the people that are actually trying to help them, they've made into enemies, and they sabotage, right? It's total self-sabotage. So energy is the very first one. So if you have a circle, that first circle, you would want to rate yourself. And so are you a half of that circle? Do you have half energy? Are you half positive energy, half negative energy? Are you 3/4? Are you a quarter? Are you a complete Eeyore right now? And here's the beauty of it. If you can learn to be negative, that means you can learn to be positive. You can completely retrain your brain. And so we may do one of these for you in the future in the lab. We'll do a retrain your brain, and how to actually take and capture the thoughts that are self-perpetuating your place of misery. Because what you're talking about before, it's people that live in their place of affliction. Okay. They live in their place of affliction. And that affliction defines them. It becomes their whole identity, as opposed to just something they went through and chose to become better from. Right.
Well, it's kind of like how I talk a little bit in Millionaire Mindset about the concept of teaching yourself success, right? And like success is just a mindset. And I went from, being homeless, living in my car, to buying and selling multi-million-dollar companies, but I didn't do that because I had any amount of talent. I did that because I placed my mind where it was meant to be, and I taught my mind how to think like a wealthy person thought. Because I would go and test drive the $100,000 car. I would go sit and buy a steak and surround myself with the energy of people who were buying $100 steaks. And that sounds crazy, but that is retraining your brain, and that would be such a fun lab. Because I think of the brain like a bunch of PVC pipes, just a bunch of PVC pipes, and they just get bigger, bigger, bigger the more you feed. What you feed grows. And so at the end of the day, if you can just connect different PVC pipes in your brain, you can actually, you can learn to be successful. Which is a learned trait. Success is a mindset.
Absolutely.
Success is not about, and so many people are like, oh, it's opportunity. No, when you're thinking about, when your mind is operating in a correct mindset, and you're actually focused on where it is you're supposed to go, opportunity follows. And that's what a lot of people don't realize is, well, I was born in this, and I was born, when I was born, we were dirt broke. We had nothing. We had a little bit of money for a short amount of time, and then my parents got divorced, and we had nothing ever. And so it was like, and then I lived in my car, absolutely broke. Had a lot of friends, but that was it. I was rich in friendships. But other than that, I didn't have money. I was trying to work. I was trying to feed my siblings sometimes, and it's like opportunity follows the people that shift their mindset and say, I'm going to chase this pattern. I'm going to assess myself, and I'm going to look so deeply and figure out what's wrong with me. What do I have to fix?
Yeah.
Who can I find that makes up for these qualities? And who can I hang around, like you were saying, the $1 million speaker, because that's what you want to do. You want to be. Who can you get around that feeds off that energy?
Yeah.
You know, and it's think about it. Think about waves. If you have two bodies of water, the bigger body of water, eventually the waves start following that bigger body of water. And so it's like when you're hanging around that person that's generating $1 million per speaker fee, guess what? The longer you hang around them, you're going to start generating $1 million. I know personally, a lot of people in my life, I have watched just the consistent, as we hang out, the consistency of, oh, they're starting to do this thing that I was doing, you know? And they're starting to see the success that I saw early on because we're just spending time together. And so, but anyway, energy is the first one. What's the second?
Second one is energize. It sounds like the same, but it's not the same. Energize is your effect on others. Your effect on others, right? So do you have a positive effect on others or a negative effect on others? I'm an influencer in my personality. I'm not an influencer on any platform or anything like that. But I have a personality of an influencer. So when I was a partier, I was going to influence people to party, right? Right? No, me, no. But when I shifted, into with a different life focus, my job is to influence people in a positive direction. If I allow myself to move into a toxic mindset, I say toxic things, I think toxic things, I do toxic actions. My influence will affect others. So, what is the influence that you have on other people? Do you energize other people? Do you make other people want to be better themselves?
Why is it important for somebody to energize somebody else, though? Like, what's the value in understanding how you energize them?
Let me put it to you this simply. Your network is your net worth. The people, successful people that are going somewhere want to be around people that energize them. It's
good.
Because successful people and people that are going somewhere always have leeches sucking their blood. They always have people trying to use them.
Somebody wants something always.
Yep. I had a gentleman, and this guy, I think I mentioned, I can't remember if I mentioned it last week or not. It was the guy that invented the foam finger. Did I tell you about this?
Oh yeah,
I have a friend that had the foam finger. He invented it, right? And so the guy's house was 27,000 square feet. He had a smoking room in his house, and the smoking room, the floor was onyx. And he goes, not that cheap crap they put in rings. This is real onyx, right? I mean, so he had a bowling alley. He had 3 swimming pools. Okay, 3 swimming pools. And
why do you need 3?
Well, 1 for lounging, 1 for volleyball, and 1 for diving. Obviously, Jonathan, for crying out loud.
Golly. I claim it. How long
must I be with thee? Anyway, but this guy, he literally, he was brilliant, right? He's a brilliant dude. So I asked him, I was at that time, I was in my young 20s, or mid 20s, or to late. And so I said, hey, I want some advice. Here's where I'm at in my life. Here's what I'm dealing with my finances. Here's my debt. Here's my whatever. And I just showed him everything. And he's like, all right. He goes, here's what I want you to do. Bing, 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 bing. And he gave me a list of like 7 or 8 things.
Yeah, I remember.
Remember that? And so I came back to him and I said, hey, I did them.
Yeah.
He's like, you did what? I did them. What did you do? All of them. The things you told me, I did all of them. And he's like, are you serious? He goes, no one does them. And so he literally told me, he goes, because of where I am and what I have, every single day I have 3 or 4 proposals of somebody wanting my money. He goes, and people always say they want to learn from me. They always say they want something, but nobody actually does it. So because you did it, I want to be a part of anything you want to do. And so all of a sudden,
did he give you a foam finger or no?
I didn't get a foam finger.
Why did you even show up?
He did take me to Hawaii though. That was kind of nice. That was
gosh.
Kind of fun.
I guess that's
anyway, yeah. But again, it's successful people. They have so many people sucking the life out of them. They want to be around people that energize them, that make them feel good, that make them feel better, that uplift them. Because we've all heard it: mo money, mo problems, man. I mean, you don't. Poor people don't worry about tax problems.
That's true.
Rich people worry about tax. In fact, this guy, he literally one time he said, man, he was so stressed out. Same guy, so stressed out. I don't know what to do, man. I'm so stressed. I'm so frustrated. I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, what, man? What's going on? What's going on? He goes, man, my business did better than I thought, and I wasn't prepared for it, and I made an extra $7 million last year, and now I gotta pay the taxes on that.
What
and
a
I'm gonna
problem to
I want to
have.
slap this fool. He's literally goes, if I don't figure this out, it was November 30th. He goes, I got 31 days to figure this out. If I don't figure it out, I'm gonna have to write a $3.5 million check to the government.
Yep.
So he goes, so he's like under all kinds of, and I'm over here going, shut the hell up, right? But at the end of the day, he doesn't want to give $3.5 million to a government we know is going to waste it.
It's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep.
Absolutely. So anyway, so energize is important. So you want to, again, ask someone that you can love and trust. Do I energize you? How would you rate me? Am I a full circle? Am I a half circle? Am I 3/4 of a circle? Do I suck the life? And you got to find people that'll tell you the truth. Be like, dude, I have a friend that he calls me. He's like, man, he goes, I don't call you very often because I know I'm a burden. I know being my friend is a burden, and I can't help myself, and I suck the life out of you. And so I don't call you very often because I'm doing it for your benefit.
But at least that's self-awareness.
Talk about self-awareness, right? You know, right?
So we have 2 E's. We have energy and we have energize.
Yep.
So the goal is to rate yourself.
Yep.
Or rate yourself and then ask somebody else that is close to you, a wife, a friend, a girlfriend, what would you rate me on my energy? What kind of energy do I have? And then energize, what kind of energy am I giving off to the people around me, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to go through the rest of the 4 E's and 1 P. So 4 E's and 1 P, we're talking about self-awareness and self-assessment and the importance of being self-aware and how to fill those gaps and make up. So we're going to take a quick break, but we will be right back with the Lab with Joel Scrivener. So...
What's up, y'all? How you doing? Welcome back to Hustle Live, the Lab. Today we're walking through the science of self-awareness and self-assessment, why that's important, how to do that in a very simplistic way. So far we've talked about the quality of energy. We've talked about the quality to be able to energize. And now the third quality is execute.
So these are the 4 E's and the 1 P. Of your personality, or
nope.
Okay.
This is simply a self-assessment or an assessment you can do on other people.
Okay.
If you might be a manager of people, you might be a business owner.
We have a lot of managers, people that are managing entire departments as part of our Discord. So
this is a perfect tool for you to use to evaluate the people on your team. Do they have good energy? Do they put off good energy? Do they get up? Are they a self-starter? Do they a go-getter? Do they make it happen? Do they energize other people? Do people like working with them? Do people want to work with them on the team? Or is it like, remember on the playground, where, the last kid that gets picked, when people are like, whatever, that person didn't energize the rest of the team, that kind of a deal.
But I'm terrible at sports.
Oh, that's what it is.
I'm so bad at sports. Nobody wanted to play with me.
If it was the math Olympics, he'd have been picked first, maybe. Who knows? Spelling bee.
Making money.
You'd have crushed it on a spelling bee.
All that matters.
There you go. You're winning now. Who's winning now, right? Nerds rule. I was just playing. I was talking to a buddy this morning who might be an investor for you. We'll see. But I was telling him about your nerd mansions on the metaverse.
My nerd mansions?
Yeah, nerd mansions on the metaverse.
Half of the people part of our community are from meta mansions.
I know, and one day maybe I'll get to visit.
Lord.
Come on, I'm just having some fun here.
Okay, anyway. So the 4 E's and the 1 P, we went through energy, which is the first one, energize, which is the second, and what is the third E?
Execution. Execution.
Are we talking about executing or execution?
If you have someone in mind that you like to
Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. No, you getting your crap done, right? You handling business. Do you procrastinate? Do you push things off? Do you blame other people? Do you whatever? Or you get a task and you freaking crush it, and then you do above and beyond.
You know what we call that in Apollo? Figure it the... Am I allowed to say?
I don't know.
I don't know on YouTube.
I don't know. Does Joe Rogan
figure
say
the F out?
Know.
He might. Figure the F out is what we call it on at Apollo. So that is the quality of execution. Is figuring it the F.
Didn't you tell me that you had a standing policy that if you could Google search a solution,
if somebody asks me a question and I Google search it and it's on the first page of Google, you're fired. So, it's FITFO. That's the FITFO principle at Apollo and the rule. So if you ever want a job and you ask me a stupid question, you're gone.
There you go.
Sorry.
Duly
all
noted.
Questions are great. But
Except
stupid questions. I'm like, don't make me. I pay you so that I don't have to do your job.
There's no such thing as a stupid question except that one, Anyway, so execution. All right. So how well do you do your job? How well do you handle business? Yes. And taking again an honest assessment of that. How do you rate yourself? If you're a banker. Where do you stand on the world stage of bankers? How good are you at what you do? Yeah. Do other people outwork you? Do other people outperform you? If you're a sales guy, or whatever, or you're a school teacher, whatever, wherever you find yourself, everyone has their 9 to 5, right? And that's, the goal of what we're trying to do here for all of us is to move out of 9 to 5s. We want to keep, for me personally, I think I've got about 3 9 to 5s now is what I got going on, right? But it's just you get them spinning, and you instead of it being 9 to 5, I get to the point where I'm so good at what I'm doing, I can do it in a 10 to noon.
Same result, less
in 10 to noon, right? So I'm doing it 10 to noon instead of 9 to 5, and then I've got a different 9 to 5 that I'm doing 2 to 4, right? And you have that is that kind of a mindset. Yeah. So I don't want to give up ever a stream of income. Yeah. What I want to do is get so good at what I do that I can get the results that one person takes in 2 or 3 days, and I can do it in 2 or 3 hours.
Why do you
this
think
is how you are, man. This guy right here, I'm telling you, this guy right here, he can literally take, and he goes into this savant, Rain Man moment. He's like, definitely 134, definitely 103. And he goes Rain Man and creates something that would take someone else a month to do, and he'll do it in 30 minutes. Just his brain just works differently than other people, right? So it's fascinating to me. But that whole idea of execution is there are people that literally all they do is they complain, they make excuses, they blame
always
other
have the
people.
same idea. Mm-hmm. And they never do. You know how many people came to me when I first started building apps? I got this idea. 3 years later, I got this idea. And I'm like, it's the same idea. You've never done anything. You still work at McDonald's, which nothing wrong with working at McDonald's. I'm just saying, if you want to build something, you got to execute. Yeah. You got to get up and do it. It's like, if it's a dream, it's either a dream or it's something you can put into reality. And at the end of the day, the longer you sit and just stew on something, and timing is important, but it's like, I'm sick of hearing, I've got this concept, I've got this idea. That's why we created Hustle, is so that we can give you the financial freedom to go chase those big things. Like, stop. I'm sick of talking to people, and you're talking about energy, right? I'm tired of hanging around people that do not execute and do not have the, I don't know, just maybe it's capacity. I don't know what it is, but they don't want to actually take their ideas or their dreams and make it a reality. They talk about it their entire lives. And then by the time they're 50, 60, I might try that. And it's too late. Yeah. You missed your window of opportunity. And so it's like, and everybody's like, I have responsibilities. You don't think I had responsibilities when I built ChurchBase? Like, I had to manage both. Guess what? I was spending all day long on my 9 to 5, my real job. And then in the afternoons, I would hustle my ass off on ChurchBase. And I sold it for multi-millions. 6 years. It took me 6 years. I did not take a paycheck for 4 years. Wow. I did not make a penny off of my dream because I was like, you know what? I'm going to do everything I can to execute on this thing and make it work. And I knew nothing about software. I knew nothing about, church apps. I knew nothing about payment processing. I had to teach it all. Stop making excuses. If you're going to build something, just get out there, fucking build it, Like, stop playing around.
How do you really feel? Execute. You're energizing me right now.
Sorry, I'm like, I'm sick of hanging around people that just always have an idea and never do anything.
And here, psychologically, they're afraid of failure. So if they keep it in the dream world, if you stay in the dream world and what you're going to do one day, and you never go do it, it's because you're afraid of failure. Yeah. And if you actually ever went out there to do it, you might fail, and then the dream becomes a nightmare. And so it's safer just to stay in.
But guess what? The person that made it, the person you're looking at, you're like, oh, I want to be them. You know how many times they failed? They had to fail to get where they are. Yeah. The only way to get to success faster than anybody else is to fail faster than them, because we all have to fail the exact same way. Every single company that you're looking at, everybody in your industry, every single person that's ahead of you had to go through the exact same failures that you're going to have to go through. The only difference between you and them is that they decided that they were just going to just run after it. They were just going to do it. And they were going to suck it up, and they were going to deal with the humility, and they were going to say, I'm going to do it.
I think it was Thomas Edison that said, I never failed once.
Yeah.
I just learned 10,000 ways it didn't work.
It's
And then he finally learned the one way that it worked, right?
Yep.
So execute, okay? So you want to think about that. The people around you, the people you're surrounding yourself with, are they just talkers or are they get-it-doners, right? Do they make it happen? You know, we got to be those kind of people. It's fit-fo. We got to be those kind of people that get out there, get it done, make it happen, all that kind of stuff. Because people want to work with that. People want to do business with those kind of people. People want to be friends. You know, my wife, she tells me that my drive to go out and conquer the world is the most attractive thing about me. I thought it was this.
My wife told me that's the she's like, and she literally, I was like, hey, I want to be president of the United States. She said, find another wife.
There you go. There you go. There you go. But for my wife, for her to see a lazy dude is repulsive.
Oh, yeah.
He could be the best looking guy on the planet. He could look like young Brad Pitt. But if he's a slug, if he's lazy, if he doesn't have drive, he's disgusting.
Who wants to be around somebody that just wants to sit on their ass all day or sit on the couch? Like, nope, that's not an attractive trait for anybody that I know personally. It's like, we want to be around, we want to feel like we're part of something as humans. We want to do something. We want to feel like, wow, like this person energizes me and gets me excited. Like, I love hanging around other entrepreneurs, even people that haven't done any huge thing, but think like I do, you know, and they're like, hey, what if we did this? What if we do? Because those people energize my mind and they get ideas churning. And I'm like, wow, like I could really do something here.
And that's why we're doing this podcast, right? I mean, it's not in anything that we say, hey, we've accomplished this, we've accomplished that. We're not saying any of those things to look, we're just regular dudes, right? We're regular guys. We mess up. We make mistakes. We need therapy sometimes or counseling or a coach or whatever.
I go to therapy every other week.
Right. I have a coach that I talk to, constantly, right? So we're just regular people. But we have big dreams, and we want to make an impact in your life. We want to inspire you to dream bigger than you're dreaming right now, and to accomplish more than you're accomplishing right now, and that we could all be in that place of constant and never-ending improvement, right? So, which brings us to the fourth E.
The fourth E. So wait, the first one is energy. Second one is energize.
Yep.
And the third one is execution or execute.
Execution.
And then what's the fourth one?
Edge.
Ooh.
Edge. Okay, so I'll explain. Edge. So the execution, and it seems like edge and execution, they're similar, just like energy and energize are similar.
Yeah.
Edge is someone that has the capacity to make really hard decisions and make really hard moves under pressure. It's someone that has the capacity to say, you know what, this relationship's not right for me. Don't want to hurt your feelings, but we're done. It's the person that's
boldness.
It's the person in the middle. And dude, we're coming out of a pandemic.
Yeah.
How many people were paralyzed by the pandemic? Paralyzed. You know, and being an organizational leader, there has never been a time in my life that there's been more pressure on a leader to execute and have edge than in this season, because you got all of your clients looking at you, you got all of your employees looking at you, you got all of your community looking at you, and the pressure to. So you've seen what 30% of businesses failed during this season, but at the same time, other businesses exploded.
Yeah, I sold my first massive company at the start of COVID, and I was sitting here and I'm like, in a pandemic, we sold a huge company, you know, and it's like everybody, and it was, I mean, frankly, it was the grace of God, but at the end of the day, it's like, you're 100% right. It was, had I froze, had I not, you know, not to make this about me at all, but it was a personal experience, but had I froze and not been able to lead the employees well to a successful exit. You know how many deals fell through during COVID? Like, holy moly. Huge. And it, you know, and this was an exit. That was massive. Like, those are complicated.
Yeah, well, similar for us in the middle of the pandemic. We, when other people were shutting down, we made very aggressive moves.
Your organization exploded.
We bought a $7.5 million, $8 million headquarters in the middle of the pandemic, raised the capital for it, and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's the I heard a statement that some people lean back when other people tilt. Ooh. Right. And that's the difference is If you lean back, your center of gravity goes back. You're not in a position to take territory. If you tilt forward, if your weight is forward, you're ready to move in that direction. And we've got to learn how to tilt and lean in to challenges, right? It's no different than being in the ocean. Yeah. You know, if you're leaning back when a wave hits you, man, you're gone. But if you lean into it, you can kind of power through that wave, right?
And that's what hustle is doing right now. We are in a bear market. We're in a recession.
Yeah.
Our NFTs are very expensive. They're not, inexpensive NFTs that we're selling. We're adding as much value as we can, but these are lifelong, like, cash flow assets that we're building people that have the potential to change their lives. Mm-hmm. And so it's not a cheap product, but we're building it in a bear market. And when everybody else is scattering and we're saying, no, we're going to do this, and it's not going to be easy. No. And it hasn't been easy, and it's going to continue not being easy, but our project will reap the benefits at the end of this bear market because we're the ones that just kept going no matter what. And we said, hey, it's okay. Like, we're just every day, one foot in front of the other. We're going to get there one way or the other. And we will come out on top as a project and as a community because we're leaning in during these. We're talking about two principles that are very tangible in both of our lives. I mean, his organization exploded $7.5 million for a building. I sold a multi-million-dollar company during the pandemic. These are principles that actually work, and we're implementing them in the Project Hustle because every single day it's one foot in front of the other. It's everybody else is, oh no, this is a bear market. I'm going to scatter. I'm going to do a free mint just to get people around. And it's like, no, we're adding value.
Right.
We're building. We're taking this seriously because there's no better time than now to build cash flow and to start. There is no better time than right now today to start a business because if you keep going at the end of the bear market, at the end of at the end of all of this, at the end of the recession, you are going to be the one that's standing because you built in a tumultuous time. I'm like, say that 7 times fast.
How do I spell that?
Tumultuous. I can't even. Anyhow, so I just killed the vibe.
Hey, no, I loved it. No, but here's what you're saying. The people that are wishy-washy don't have edge. People that, I don't know, I'm still thinking about it, I'm not sure. There's no edge there. It's got to make a decision, right? It's basic physics. Objects that are in motion tend to stay in motion. Objects that are at rest tend to stay at rest. Objects that are in motion are easier to keep in motion. Objects that are in motion are easier to steer and negotiate. If you've ever driven a car that didn't have power steering, when the car's not moving, you can barely turn the wheel. The car's got to be moving so that you can easily turn the wheel because it being in motion creates the ease, right?
Yes.
Same thing with a bullet. If you're firing a bullet through blades of grass, it's in motion. All it has to do is tink barely off one little blade of grass, and it changes the whole. Of course, it can blow straight through that grass, but if it catches it because it's in motion at a tiny angle, that grass can move it off target, right? So it's little bitty things like that, having the edge to say, you know what, I may make the wrong decision, but I'm making a decision and we're moving forward.
Yes.
So when I began, one of the things I did is I studied, there's a number of different books on the millionaire mindset, habits of millionaires, things of that nature. Yes. And there's people that have studied a cross section of 500 different millionaires that were all self-starters, came from nothing, all that kind of thing. One of the most important qualities that they all had is that they made decisions quickly.
Yes.
They made quick decisions.
That is a huge principle in the Hustle Academy, is that it's all about like just making a decision and realizing that you can fear stops everything. Yeah. Fear stops everybody from making decisions, because what if it goes wrong? What if my employees don't look at me right? What if, my friends don't look at, and it's at the end of the day, just moving. It is faster to move and make the wrong decision and turn back than it is to just wait. I'm waiting for the perfect moment to make a decision. It's faster to make the wrong decision. And that's why people that just make decisions quickly reach success faster.
Yeah. Now you want to have a lot of good advisors. Like I've got a major decision I'm making in my organization right now, and I've literally got 10 different advisors that I've talked to about this, and all 10 of them are like absolutely, this is the decision. This has to happen. So it gives me tons of confidence because these are people that I trust. They'll tell me the truth. They're not going to sugarcoat
and they're
anything.
making up for all of the energy, energize, execution, and edge that you lack, and any of those that you have a shortcoming in. Those 10 advisors make up for them, and I know a lot of those 10 advisors, and I know that they make up for a lot of the weaknesses that you have. You have a lot of strengths, but you have weaknesses just like I do, and I know that those advisors fill those gaps, which is why I have confidence in your organization.
Thank you. So we're only as strong as the people that are linked arms with us, right? The chain is only as strong as its weakest link, and we've got to surround ourselves with people that add to our strength and not pull down on us. Okay, so let's go to the last one. P. All right, P is for passion. Passion.
We talk about passion a lot.
Yep, we sure do. And most people don't understand the actual definition of passion. Most of us, we think of passion, we think of something romantic. We think of pasión, we're the Telemundo, a soap opera, a Mexican soap opera or something like that. Who knows, whatever. Yeah. But it's one of those funny things where passion, literally the definition, if you look it up in the Webster's, one of the definitions, Webster's dictionary, in the Webster's down at the Walmarts, you can pick one up. But the definition is...
I've never seen a Webster's at the Walmart.
Well, by golly, you've gone to the wrong Walmarts. There's a book section there. I don't know. Who knows? But Google it for crying out loud.
Google it.
Merriam-Webster.com, whatever it is. But one of the definitions is suffering.
Wow.
Suffering. So here's the question.
Ooh,
what are you willing to suffer to accomplish? Yes. Are you willing to suffer? Go without paychecks for 4 years.
Yes.
Do you want it so bad you'll give up everything? See, there had to be for me with and again, I've been married this week, 27 years I've been married, right? I married my wife. We met it when I was 19, 20.
When's the anniversary? Thursday?
Thursday. Yeah, wow. Thursday. So
that's incredible.
Nice bottle of wine. I know it's coming my way. Praise God. All right. Anyway, but it's, marriage, there's the only way you stay married, the only way you raise great kids, and I've got 2 great kids, is you freaking suffer, man. You push through. Yes. You're passionate about it. We're going to make it. We're going to push through. We're going to overcome. I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get dirty. I'm not going to worry about that. Yeah, it's hard working. Yeah, I've already done a 10-hour day, but now I've got a kid that's going through a crisis, and I'm going to go sit on her bed and have a conversation with my 18-year-old daughter and help her to walk through this conflict that she's dealing with or whatever, because I love my kid. I'm passionate for my kid, right? I'm passionate for my business. I'm passionate for this dream, for this whatever. And for you that are thinking about, you might be on the fence going, man, do I get this? Do I bite the bullet? Do I pull this from savings? Do I do this, whatever? There's a risk involved. Yeah, there's a risk involved, but no great thing happens without risk. And
you know what's really risky? Staying at a 9-to-5 because somebody else controls your future. It blows my mind when you go and try to buy a house or a car or anything, a credit card, and they're like, oh, send us your W-2. Yeah. And it's harder to buy a house self-employed than it is to buy a house with actual W-2 income. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, what's more risky? Someone else controlling your future or you controlling your future? And I'm like, the riskier thing is somebody else. And so it doesn't make sense to me. But when you're talking about passion, it just reminds me of the importance of what creates passion. And it's not money. It's not the drive to build something even. It's what happens afterwards. What is beyond the money? What is farther? What is the result of you building something or you buying something or you creating something or whatever you are passionate about? Passion is driven by something beyond money. Yeah. And so you have to, for us and the Hustle Project, it's impact. What are we doing in this world to leave a positive impact in your life, in the lives of people around us? In our Discord, we have the channel Community Impact, and the community's given away $18,000 to date, and we have not had a mint. Yeah. And so I'm sitting here and I'm like, we haven't earned hardly any money off this project yet, but the community is giving and giving and giving. We are creating an impact. That's what drives this community. That's what gives me the passion to be recording, be on calls all day long, manage the community, manage the team, get on an AMA right afterwards, and then get on a Twitter space in the evening. It's endless. But there's a passion because I know the impact that we're going to create in the lives of the people that buy this project, that mint this project, that create a sustainable cash flow for their families. And what is that going to do for your children? What is that going to do for your friends? What is that going to do for your community? Because now you have freedom. You know?
And I want to encourage you, man, if you're sitting around, if you're on the fence thinking about being a part of this mint that's going forward and the founders cards and all that kind of stuff, now's the time to execute. Now's the time to have some edge, make a decision, have some passion, make some sacrifices. There are things that I've invested in during this last year. Exactly what Jonathan's talking about. I've leveraged this, shifted that. access this, move this around, all because of this sense, this anticipation of, man, this is a moment, and I've got to make a move on this moment. I've got to have some edge. I've got to execute. I've got to be willing to suffer a little bit, put some other things aside. Nope, I don't need that right now because I'm really going to focus on this. And it's, man, it's a time to move. It's a time to execute.
Bear markets and recessions build millionaires.
Absolutely.
Because millionaires are the
Absolutely.
ones that decide, okay, everybody's out. I'm going to get in.
I'm in.
I'm going to get in. And right now is the time to invest in projects like Hustle. If Hustle isn't for you, go invest in something else.
Right.
We know the value of what we're building, but it might not be for every single person out there. But when you're investing in a bear market and you're investing in a recession, that is the people. You hear all these stories about these, billionaires who made all this money off of. They didn't start as billionaires. Guess what? They invested at the right time. And right now is the right time to invest in projects. It's the right time to invest in cryptocurrency. And this isn't just a shameless shill for founder cards. It's literally, we're imploring you, take the time now to study, to educate yourself, and to invest in a market when everybody else leaves. You get in. Because then when everybody else gets back in, it's too late. It skyrockets. And there's FOMO, but you're sitting there happy because you're like, I did it. I purchased the founder's card. I purchased the business. I purchased Ethereum. I purchased Bitcoin. Not financial advice, but now is the best time to do it. Now is the best time to learn. And that's about as financial advice as it gets. So I can't say enough.
Yeah, you're only saying financial advice about the season, right? And so you still have to do all your due diligence and find the right opportunity for you and consult with your advisors and different things of that nature. But you're talking about the season we're in right now is a season. A lot of people are holding back and pulling back and waiting for that right moment. And the moment is here. And every opportunity, there. So I'm trying to think of there's a statement, there's a quote that I'm blanking out on right now, but it essentially is talking about here's what it is. It's the opportunity of life. The opportunity of a lifetime exists within the lifetime of the opportunity. That's what it is. I couldn't put it together in my brain. So, but the opportunity of the lifetime exists inside of the lifetime of the opportunity, and you have to be ready when that opportunity comes. You've got to be in position when that opportunity comes. So if this is the one for you, then that's great. If it's not, then that's great. But you got to position yourself and live and be ready. And that's what Jonathan and I are doing in our personal lives outside of this. We're doing this in our personal lives. We're moving things and getting things into a position where we have capital that's ready to move and to be employed in whatever. It's like, and look, I mean, you're 9 to 5. One of my goals, I know this is probably a goal for you in your life, is what if my money could be my employees?
Ooh.
Okay. And what if my money could make more money than I make?
Yes.
What if I could put my money to work and my money could be my employee, and now my money is making more money than I make at my job, right? That's what we're talking about here, right? Now I may keep my job. I may keep because now I have multiple streams of income, and one of my personal goals is that when my money is making this money, now I can make that money that's making money make more money, and I keep this business going and this business going, and I've got these different streams of income, but I have certain streams of income that are only for investing and for growing that nest egg bigger and bigger and bigger.
And that's the promise of cryptocurrency in the NFT world. Unfortunately, there's been so many abusive projects that have abused the, just people's trust. And they've said the exact same things we're saying today. And unfortunately, there's nothing more that we can do except prove it. And that's what we intend to do on Hustle, and what we're doing right now on Tuesdays and Thursdays on this show, live on YouTube. I actually build one of these 5,000 businesses. We're talking about founders cards, but after the founder cards, we're minting 5,000 automated online cash flow businesses. And I actually take one of these businesses and I'm building it in front of everybody live on YouTube so that I can show people that these actually generate cash flow. Wow. And we're going to build it to $10,000 a month before we mint out on the businesses. And proof is in the pudding. Yep. And so you can hear what we're saying, or you can watch what we do. And at the end of the day, what we're doing is we are building generational wealth for our families. We're building my son, his future is taken care of because of the sacrifices that I made in bear markets and in recessions and in personal recessions in my life when I had no money. Yeah. The things I did, the moves I made when I couldn't make them and I couldn't afford them. That's what most people don't realize is when it's not when it's easy and you have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands
Right.
of dollars sitting around. It's when you don't have the money and you make the smart move, because those moments are sometimes
Yeah.
the most impactful moments. And so we are proving the value of what we're building. We're not asking you to just blindly invest in it. That'd be stupid as investors. We
Right.
don't blindly invest in anything.
No.
And so it is of utmost importance that you pay attention to the project, you learn about the project, you understand what you're investing in, but also, you know, these founder cards, there's nothing like them on the in the NFT space at all. And we're super excited about September 29th, when the whitelist, we're starting whitelist mint on September 29th, and we're starting the public mint on the 30th. We have a mint party. You're coming to the mint
I'm
party.
coming to the mint party.
Your wife's
I'm
coming
bringing
to
my stone cold fox of a wife, man.
I love it.
Man,
I love it.
you
It's
get to meet her.
fantastic.
Come on out. You get to meet her.
It'll be a good time here in Dallas, and we're gonna have a mint party on the 30th, and we'll be live streaming.
Yeah.
If you can't make it, we'll be live streaming
Yeah.
and having some fun.
And this is our one of our favorite places. It's called Haywire.
well, they have
right?
it's our favorite because they have 200 whiskeys.
Well, there's that. There's definitely that.
200 different whiskeys.
Yeah, but their food. I mean,
The food's amazing too.
it's like
fantastic.
Southern Texas.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
meat and
straight off the bone. Like,
if you're a vegan, we love you. There will be options for you,
Lord.
but
salads,
something.
Caesar salad,
Fried
without
green
the chicken.
tomatoes. They got fried green
Oh,
tomatoes. Next level.
mushrooms.
But oh my god, elk tacos. Are you kidding?
Oh, yeah,
Venison chili,
okay, those
their
elk
steaks,
tacos
shut
are
the front
incredible.
door. Oh, I'm getting hungry. We're going today. Is that where we're going? I don't know.
Maybe. Why
Who
not?
knows? We'll go somewhere.
Maybe. Anyway, so we do invite you to learn more about the project. Jump in our Discord, ask us questions. We love hanging out inside the Discord. Joel was in there for how long were you in there?
About
last
an
night?
hour last night. Something like
Yeah,
that.
an
maybe
hour
45
last
minutes.
night. Jeez.
You guys stay up late, man.
Oh, it's bad. It's bad. Like some nights I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like we did a call till about 11 and I'm like, I'm going to bed. How are you guys still?
Yeah.
I'm like, but we have kids.
Kids.
So kids, man, they do that to you. But anyway, we really appreciate all of your support, your questions. Yesterday we had an amazing Q&A. If you have questions about the project, feel free to ask it in the Discord, and either one of our mods or myself will get back to you. If you want to learn more about the project, you can go to HUSLNFT. That's Hustle NFT, HUSLNFT.com, and learn more about the project and join our Discord. And we look forward to the mint next week. Whew, next week, man, we're
coming.
close.
It's coming.
We are going to change the industry one step, putting one foot in front of the other. And so thank you for being part of the lab. My name is Jonathan Bodnar. It's Joel Scribner, and we appreciate you. You matter. What you do with your life matters, and being a part of this project matters. And so thank you very much. We will see you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, and Joel will see you
I'll
next
see you next
week.
Wednesday. God bless.
All right.